Time to go for bronze in the recurve mixed team competition here in Medellin at the third stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. We're just about ready to go, so let's go down to the range to meet the athletes.
On target number 1, representing India.
En la vaca número 1, representando India,
Bajan Kaur. Tushar Shelke. On target number 2, representing Chinese Taipei.
en la vaca número 2, representando China, Taipei,
Hong Xiaomao. Wei Chunheng. The line judge for this matchup is
el juez, la juez del partido,
Fatima Abuyarrade.
Well, an interesting lineup for the bronze medal match here in this recurve mixed team competition. India up against Chinese Taipei. In normal circumstances, you'd fancy the Chinese Taipei team to bag this bronze medal. But India this season, Chef, have been on fire.
They have been indeed. And then looking at the men's team match of Chinese Taipei versus Korea, we've seen Wei falter under the pressure a little bit. So we can see if he's going to be able to recuperate here.
Yeah, way off form. India, though, have a teenager in their lineup, but it will be Peng Chiamao to shoot first for Chinese Taipei. Just 4 arrows per set in the mixed team competition.
9, 30.
Undoubtedly, Wei has had the chance to give some instructions about where the arrows are going to land in the beginning of the match, because he has been out here before. And he is starting from 0 here. So even though his match against Korea was a bit rough, he's going to be able to find redemption here if he does well.
Interesting to see how the 17-year-old Bajan Kaur handles the pressure of the podium range.
Really solid shot there. Didn't seem like overly stressed or overly tensed.
Looks like it's taken a little bit of pressure off her as well. She hands over to Tusha Shelka.
9, 30.
In the last match that we saw from Wei, there was a bit of a struggle to get through the clicker at times, and then eventually when he did get through the clicker, sometimes there was a bit of a stumble, but it seems like he's more comfortable now and more solid in his shooting.
Yeah, he just looks so much better, and of course he's scoring a lot better. None of this sort of letting down, relaxing before releasing the arrow.
So depending on that arrow call of Chinese Taipei, with a 10, India might be able to tie this set still. Didn't quite manage. We did get a really good look at his technique there, his line work, where I wouldn't necessarily say that was very textbook. His left shoulder, his bow shoulder is quite high, and there's a lot of muscle tension rather than just normally you want to have like a bone-to-bone connection, so you don't have to use all of your muscles the whole time. It seems like he's just purely pulling his arrow through the clicker on muscle tension rather than just the typical back tension movement that you would see. It's very, very contrasting to see the Chinese Taipei team where they have very nice and crisp looking techniques, and then here you can see the muscle tension I was talking about. You can see his hand completely open and coming away from his face in release, whereas Carr has a very simple and relaxed technique. So it just shows you that you need to cater the technique for yourself and not only look at others. It could also mean that he's just struggling with his technique a little bit, and that he would maybe rather shoot like more textbook. But it's not that easy to change your technique if you've done it for such a long time. Looking back at my own career as an example, I would have liked to shoot with a bit of a different technique maybe, but I felt like I was too far in and I was too invested in the way I was shooting already to still change anything at like I want to say later age, but I mean not that old yet.
Still stubborn though. So India trailing Chinese Taipei by 2 set points to 0. I have to say, Bajrang Kaur, the 17-year-old, is just showing a little bit of the strain and the pressure of competition as she shoots first, but into the 10 again. She went 10-8 in the first set.
So now we're going to get a really nice look of that front shoulder kind of raising up as he goes into anchor. You can see he kind of creeps up there, and his, I think it's trapezius or trapezoid. On the left side, there's a little bit of tension there, and he kind of leans back a bit. I'm not going to say it's bad technique, but it's not necessarily textbook. There's a bit of a difference there in the shots that Wei is making compared to the ones that he was making in the last match, where his back elbow, when he's pulling through the clicker, when he's extending through the clicker, isn't dropping as much. So that would indicate that he's using back tension more rather than pulling through on his arm muscles. I just got distracted by the fact that we've only seen 10 so far this set.
Yeah, all of a sudden the two teams have dialed into the middle of the target. Just pulled that one across to the right. You could see that Bo Kwando going on, and that's drifted out to the 8, which opens the door for a potential 4-0 lead for Chinese Taipei. Peng up first in their second rotation.
8.
It's a very important arrow here by Wei.
It certainly was, and that means a share of the points, the share of the set points I should say, as they've leveled up with each other after so many 10s in a row. It was curious to see that 8 from Schelke, but then followed immediately by an 8 from Peng.
Yeah, so they got away with it, and it's also it can be confidence inspiring if you shoot an arrow that doesn't hit the middle, and your opponent just does that too. It can give you a little bit of like, okay, so I can get away with something. I don't have to be perfect, because the risk of trying to be perfect is that you try to overdo it and then make mistakes because of that reason. Judge having a real good look at that 8-9 liner, and it is downgraded to an 8, so nothing changes in the scores that the scorer just put down.
They did have a good look at that, didn't they? They weren't 100% convinced it was in the 8, and of course they have to make sure.
Yeah, you cannot do any guesswork in this game. It's either in or it's out.
Well, we saw 2 10s from Bajrang Kaur. Still showing the signs of strain and pressure though.
Yeah, and rightly so. I mean, she is in a World Cup medal match in the mixed team at 17 years old.
17 years old and hasn't taken a World Cup medal just yet, unsurprisingly, at 17 years old.
That was not a great shot, but he knew what he needed to do to fix it and to get it into the 10 ring. But that was one of those shots where you could just see that the extension was not fully back tension, and it was more tension in his arm. And yeah, it's just that little bit of a nuanced difference that can make a good or a bad shot.
India on the scoreboard now, sharing the set points in the second, but they're 3-1 down, and Bajrang Kaur will start set number 3. You say that Caroline will distract the athletes. It's certainly putting me off my stride.
Well, it shouldn't distract the athletes just too much. But typically these archers are just experienced enough to get through anything.
Glimmer of hope.
Yeah, Wei can tie up this first rotation with a 10 though, so nothing is lost just yet.
You knew that was going to happen, didn't you?
It is almost as if I have some idea of what I'm doing.
So all square halfway through this one, and a 10 from Kaur. Exactly what India need.
Yeah, and these are very important because they can put some pressure on the Chinese Taipei team, and pressure that we have seen before today can make a difference to especially Wei today.
36 set, 38 available to Chinese Taipei. 2 9s to share the points again.
Ooh, they will be looking to get the set win because that would mean they win the match as well. 5 set points will mean the match win in a team match.
Well, 10 to guarantee it. A 9 might be enough. That's gone low. It is on the 9 line, on the 8-9 line, but it is cutting that line, so it's a definite 9. Now, that third arrow from Peng is set up for a measure. Did you get a feel for whether it was a possible 10?
I think it has a very, very good chance, but I have been wrong before in the past.
Is it a 9 or is it a 10? So potentially we could be looking at the winning team, Chinese Taipei, if that arrow is upgraded to a 10. However, if
well, that looked like a 9
for India.
For India, so no changes for the Indian team. We need to see the other target, and here it is. Oh, that is very close indeed, and it has been marked up. It has been marked up by the target judge, and that means that Chinese Taipei's score will go up to 36, from 36 to 37 in this set. And we're just waiting for that confirmation to come through, because if that's the case, Chinese Taipei have taken this one.
in a matter of moments as well.
It's taking a little while for that confirmation to come through. There it is, a confirmed markup on the third arrow from Peng from a 9 to a 10, and it means Chinese Taipei take the third set 37 to 36. A cruel blow for India, but a 5-1 victory in the third place playoff for Chinese Taipei, and they will be on the podium in the recurve mixed team competition just a little bit later on today.